But for all of their salty goodness, none of those headlines could beat this one.
Meet the new face of UKIP, the free speech extremists who could make UKIP dangerous again.
Right, so there are 25,000 potential Islamic terrorists roaming the streets, but I'm the extremist because I support free speech. A jihadist who attended a far-left march tries to carry out terror on the streets of London, but these guys are who we need to keep an eye on.
Hello, everyone.
You're either for or against free speech. Me being in favour of it doesn't make me an extremist, it makes me a classical liberal. It also makes me diametrically opposed to the alt-right, who now brazenly admit that they don't support free speech.
Are we even pro-free speech?
No, of course not.
Strange that, isn't it? I'm for free speech and against an ethno-state. The alt-right is for an ethno-state and against free speech. Yet a dozen or more mainstream press outlets just called me alt-right. You know what? It's almost like they know that I'm not actually alt-right and they're just lying to their readers to smear me. But this is the legacy media and we know they'd never do that.
Defending the right to be unpleasant, offensive and abusive without recourse is an extreme interpretation of freedom of speech.
Right, so I guess that makes the Supreme Court an extremist body. I guess that makes the First Amendment an extremist doctrine. How can it be a negative to be a staunch defender of a fundamental human right that underpins all the others? The only real free speech extremists are terrorists who kill others for exercising their free speech. If you really think that meme lords and centre-left classical liberals are far-right extremists, what does that say about you? What does that say about how far left your hysterical rhetoric has shifted the Overton window? What does it say about how little you know about meme culture and about how little you pretend to know about the real alt-right? So thanks Mikey Smith for that abortion of a headline, because it's going to keep me laughing all through the summer. Could they make UKIP dangerous again? Dangerous to who or what? Dangerous to killing a measure that will devastate digital rights and cripple the fundamental underlying structure of the internet? Yes! Dangerous to the notion that people should be deported or thrown in jail because they have a different opinion to you? Yes! Dangerous to the credibility of people like communist Corbynista mouthpiece Paul Mason, who painted a giant target on my back by mentioning me, then in the very next paragraph implied that I want a shooting war to start, then when confronted on it backed out of any debate, like a complete coward. Yes, I'll tell you why I joined UKIP.
The truth is, there is something terribly wrong with this country, isn't there?
UKIP is the only major political party in this country that supports free speech. The so-called Conservatives have nothing whatsoever to say about people being banned from the country for having the wrong opinion, about people being convicted for jokes, about thousands of people a year being arrested for mean tweets, while actual violent crime soars across the country. And neither do the so-called liberals. They're all complicit in the erosion of one of the bedrock principles of Western civilization. UKIP is the only major political party in this country that supports the democratic mandate of the British people when it comes to Brexit. A mandate that has been torn up and incinerated by our spineless Tory government. UKIP is the only major party in this country that opposes the continued insanity of mass immigration. A view shared by the clear majority of Europeans, yet one that our gutless leadership daren't even address. UKIP is the only major party in this country that opposes the brutal practice of halal slaughter. That's why I joined UKIP, and that's why you should join too. This isn't about resurrecting the far right, this isn't about extremism. Part of our conversation with Gerard Batten was focused around keeping the far right and extremists out of UKIP. This is about free speech. This is about restoring democracy. This is about making Britain great again.